Hey everybody, what's going on? Get some Starbucks coffee ready. Why not? So whenever I load up, I always give it a few minutes to test the connection and get one or two people in the chat. I went on to Kick instead of Twitch. Kick streaming. I went on to Kick instead of Twitch. Sweet. Okay, simple. I'm just gonna look at some bugs. Bone transforms. So I'm looking for the code which opens the open dialog, which is what you see within Windows when you click File, Open. The proper term is the open dialog or a dialog box. I don't think you can see those here. So we're in main. Load model it was called. There we go. I remember. So if this is new to you, ImGui is ImGui. It gives a user interface to the game engine. So when I turn the engine on later and you see all the boxes and buttons and icons, this is all being powered by the ImGui interface attachment API. I don't know what I'd call it really. It grants OpenGL call, so it gives you a graphics interface. You tell it you want an ImGui checkbox, you give it some text, it'll give you a checkbox. It's really good as well if you put something in an if statement and then call ImGui. It's saying if you interact with that, it will do whatever your code is within the if statement here. Pretty standard. So we're looking for async, which is what powers our model loading. must be it here. So model loader. Control and click. And it will go to where model loader is created. What is a model loader? Control and click. It's a class within model loader header, model loader CPP here. So let's see what that's doing. Because this is when we load the animation that things are going wrong. Do I have Blender installed? Yes. What I will do is see if the models that I'm loading are not corrupt. In other words, let's load it in the animation software. I will show you once I get it on the screen. I'll share it. What was it called? Oof. Right now I'm just trying to open up these animation files within Blender off screen. It turns out it doesn't want to open an FBX file. Strange. Just to bring you in on what I'm doing. Hey man, what is your real job if you want to share? It's time to pop the Frappuccino. I think what I'm going to do is, this could go wrong, opening this. I'm going to download an animation in Blender and then I'll save it myself. So let's free Blender animation files. What we got? Low poly stick man, $8. Mix AMO. Okay, somebody's recommending. Let's check it out. I'd have to log in. Let's see if there's anything just ready here. I mean, there's quite a few options, but it just doesn't, they don't fit with the feel of what we're making. Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't going to say on stream, but I paid for an Adobe service, or I think I paid for 1 month, and then I cancelled it, and it wouldn't let me. And every month it tries to take like $70 for the whole year, and every month they just send me an email saying it didn't go through. I just wanted a texture, and now I'm signed in for a year. That was some Adobe thing. Excuse me. It's gonna be blend, right? Yeah, I noticed it was Adobe, that's why I didn't bother. I'm quite regretful that I did quite a bit of Blender 2 years ago and I can't remember anything. It's not difficult, but it's just a huge system and you go back. And so when you learn again, you learn very quick. But you can't just jump in sometimes on Blender. I don't find Photoshop, I never really forget Photoshop. It's got some new iterations with the AI stuff, but okay, so how would I play this animation? So let's just make that smaller so people can see we're coding as well. Yeah, it is the strange workflow. And also, you open a file and the user interface can be different just from having opened a different file. This layout is just nothing like. Anyway, I'm not going to moan because it's probably not that hard. Here we go. Is this it here? PNG not found. No wonder my animations aren't working. You can't even get them up in its own thing. I've downloaded a bad thing. It's apparent. Control F4. Nope. This is what happens when that guy just keeps doing donut tutorials and doesn't teach you everything else. Have you seen Donut Guy? What else have we got? So I'm gonna go with the coffee. By the way, can you hear the music? I like it. I like a bit of background music. I don't want the music too low, and I don't want me too low. Free Blender animation. Man walking. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, my donut game is strong because of him, but there's gonna be no donuts in my real-time strategy. Sweet. This is going from my iPhone, which is quite annoying because it's an iPhone 16, which I think is the new one. And I mean, it's not 4K, is it? I had my DSLR was stolen. I think I might have told the chat anyway. Barcelona Airport, shout out. I'm just not feeling these. Okay, I know some geeks will like seeing a sphere bot on the game, so on the screen. We'll go with that. Thanks for jumping in, man. Frappuccino, Mocha Delight. It's out of date. Starbucks. Out of date coffee. This looks cool. So where's the textures? Shouldn't they be? We don't need textures, maybe it's just material. So normally with Blender you'd have a textures folder and also a Blender, I forget what the file type is called. Let's have a look. I can't remember. Come on, man. Okay, so we know this has animation. How is that? Frames per second because of the computer. Interesting. So I'm on a laptop, it has free speed slow, which is quiet, which is what it's on. Then there's performance, which is the next, and then turbo, but I don't really need speed for now. I'll keep it chill. But I wonder if I can export this. How do we go back? And the whole point of this is I seem to be having some problems with animation in my engine, so I just want to make sure the file is correct. What do we want to save? Everything. Go to a desktop. Shout out whoever made this. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to load the engine up. Let's see if we can get it going. This is your time to press subscribe. Antivirus is just jumping in. I've only just restarted the laptop. Go away. So it's loaded somewhere. I don't see it, do you? I don't know why I rendered the terrain. It just gets in the way of seeing it. Maybe it's underneath. Interesting, is that it? No. So what I would do, go to Blender, and we would just export as OBJ. And give it the same name. It'll crash. Let's see if that will just push through. Yeah. It was in downloads, wasn't it? OBJ. So this won't try to find its animation, it will just try to draw it. So it should work. Normally that will just work. Interesting. Now is that both of them? Maybe I found both of them. I'll delete the last thing that I drawn, yeah, and I think the other one must be. I think that crash is something to do with Windows. It's my fault, but it's a Windows. I think. Excuse me. So somehow this is it here, and you can see. You see, this is why it was good in Blender when we was trying to play the animation. This is why it was so slow. Because look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to try and animate it. Because it did load, but I didn't see it. Was it the one on the desktop? Yeah. That's interesting. We can't. When it loads the animated version, we can't see it. Let's see if we've got an error. Possible data corruption. I can't read. So the possible data corruption error message here in the console. The problem is that's an error message I created, and that code's just. This is part of the broken code, so I can't take that as being indicative of what the actual problem is. The error message might be an error. so I know it's broke, but I don't know where. But strangely, when I loaded the next one, it would then show the first one as well. Which might mean it's finally loading up the shader or something and drawing it. Well, at least it's a real error this time. Right. You know, I feel really tired, so I've got this coffee, but I should stop. I've had 2 today, and that'll be a 3rd. And then I'll just be too awake soon. Hi, I love your content. I'll bring friends next time. Add me on Discord. Doesn't sound genuine. How about bring friends this time and I'll add you on Discord? Okay. So let's see the path. So model loader, was it init scene? Init single mesh. Don't mind me, I'm just sneezing. I'll be back in a second. Where was this thing? Init from scene. Initialize from scene. This is the first function. Initialize all meshes. Okay, so the logger actually tells us if the animations are loaded. Let's have a look. And of course, I knew that because I wrote it, but it's just been 3 months. If anybody knows how to stop that from trying to load them symbols, hit me up. Okay, where's the logger at here? If I go to the code, it's interesting, it doesn't do any. It's async. Oh, maybe I've just got it turned off. So there you go, show async. Nice. Why would you use that font? We can do that. Make it bigger. Why would you do that font color? Ah, wait, I know why. Because you can change it all anyway. So it's going to be ugly. Ouch, anyone. Disgusting. Clear the log. Go away, go away, go away, go away. Okay, so a breakpoint was hit. Load animations. Animations loaded successfully. I know it. So you didn't see it on the screen, but I know it's there. It's there. Thank you, man. I had the chat. It wasn't focused. I only just saw that. Why does the chat just sometimes disappear? Tools, options, debugging. Excuse me. If you don't care about seeing named functions, what does that mean? Like, what have I lost there? Okay, so I still see my own stuff, yeah. It's just, I've never had it where if I'm running the engine and I'll go to File, Open, whilst my application is running, it will then bounce to Visual Studio and load stuff, and it didn't used to do that. So I don't know what changed there. Which presumably it's not going to do it now. Yeah, so now it's just worked fine. Yeah, I did uncheck that. Okay, thank you. Sweet. Okay, shout out Cameron for that. Little fix. I'm going to be really lame shortly and copy and paste this into ChatGPT. Although I've just seen Grok 3 is due out, I think, in 2 weeks. And it's just murdered ChatGPT and everyone else on some coding tests, examples. It was really impressive. They coded like a one-line request to use Python to generate a 4-dimensional tesseract, like the 4th-dimensional cube thing, and to put a ball inside it and rotate the cube with the ball inside and to have the physics working. and I think Grok was the only one that was able to do it, Grok 3. I think 3D games, it would be good to come away from Python. It's just my opinion. But AI and not games, Python's enough really. Yeah. Like, part of my advice would be to learn a C-based language, and maybe even something different, something more difficult than Python. And then you kind of see how good Python is because it makes things so easy. But I think if you only did Python for 2 years, for example, and then you went to C++, you might start sweating. It's harder. It doesn't mean you wouldn't be able to do it. I think it's just nice to be on the journey and see you can appreciate Python more when you know a language that's more stressful. But if it's AI, there's not a requirement. It's not a requirement in my opinion at all. I just learned C++ for a little bit. I'm still a newbie really, a junior. And then when I went to Python, I was like, oh, this is easy. But if you're going to do AI, real AI, you're going to have the intelligence level if you're going to be successful, where you could do C++ anyway. I think the biggest challenge of AI is the maths. I wouldn't call it the wrong end, to be honest. I don't want to give the advice because it's easier for me because I got lucky and just learnt C++ first by chance, and I felt that was probably the better way. You learn the harder thing first, and it's more of a gift. But you can argue it both ways. What is most important, honestly, is just learning. There's too many videos of advice, and you just go from one video to the next to the next. So it don't really matter. I learned C++ on udemy.com. There's a C++ course on here. I think it was like $10. I got it for free somehow. A friend, he gifted it me. The courses they're $200, but on the weekends they go down to $10. And it was the best course. I think his name, it might be Nick or Tim. And he taught at MIT or something for 20 years. So it's pretty much the best resource you'll get, or a top 5. And I went through that. It was quite dry though. Yeah, I'd agree with all of that. Even where I said if for 3D, I'd go to something, a different language. But computers are getting that fast now. A lot of a lot of bugs or a lot of optimizations that are missing can be forgiven just because computers are so fast. If you make something really high-end, then maybe not. But I would say doing games and doing AI, there's people that could make games and there's people that could do AI, but one can't necessarily do the other. But it depends what kind of AI as well, I would say. Like, I would guess that machine learning might be harder than game dev. But again, that's a maths thing. And also time. I think with game dev, you can learn concepts quicker than AI. Because math, there's different levels to maths and it's built on foundations. So you can't just jump into a random level. You have to go back and then back again. I found my maths was a bit average. And it wasn't ability or what I could become. It was just I didn't have any foundation. And it's like, do I want a year of maths? Although Python's been around, I think, is it 20 years or 30, longer than a lot of people realize. Same as AI. But please start small, honestly. Start on some small projects. And if you want to make it fun as well, there's some Python modules, like you can get a voice activated module. You can probably get it in your program in 10 minutes. And it will take input from your microphone. So I was running what was I running? It was some bot taking data from websites, and I would just talk through the microphone to give it instruction, almost like a Jarvis. But if you're, like you say, if you're at the start of your journey, you want something like that because it feels fun. If you're just trying to drill down bugs and going through dry tutorials all day, you'll quit. People tend to quit. So make it fun. And that's why small projects are good, because you finish it and then you feel good, and then you know you've done some progress. Like my game engine, it's too big really, which is why I've turned it into a channel. People just watch me fail and sometimes watch me succeed. But really, I've broken my engine down into different, like now it's animation. Even though it's an engine channel, it's just animation for the next month. Cameron, what's your background and what's your current? Yeah, you get very fast results. What I would say is if you're young and you're in a rush, Python might help you, because you will feel accomplished. You'll get that dopamine hit more often. If you finish big projects before, then maybe you can start a big project. A lot of people try to do games and AI, and you see it online. Why do most games fail? It's because people doing them have never accomplished anything in their life. They've not done a 3-year degree. It's not the knowledge. It's a 3-year project that they've finished. It's not about the degree. It's about knowing inside that you've completed something before. Cybersecurity engineer. My nan's a cybersecurity engineer. Just kidding, but yeah, that was big with the whole and is with that when the AI, when I kept hearing AI everywhere I looked in cybersecurity. Yeah, I don't know what it is with game dev. Everyone getting into it. It's just fun. It's midlife crisis fun. I think it's because it's creative. Okay, initialize all meshes. What are we doing? That's not where I was. I will say though, there's definitely people that cross over into game dev, and I look at their knowledge and I think they know a lot more than I do, but they don't know much game dev stuff. But they'll take over me and other people in the field quickly because they have a very strong foundation. Like 6 months and you'll be like very solid. Yeah, well, I came away from gaming. Like I was only a gamer because I was a kid and a teen, and then it was just adulthood, and then I came back to coding more than gaming, and I just saw how much the culture changed. Like paying for DLC. It sounds funny to people that are used to this, but you're paying for a game 3 times, and because people do that, will never really change. And then most games, people just pay. They just want that dopamine hit. You've leveled. It's like I've leveled 5 times. It's gonna sound like old school saying this, but there's like 100 animations on the screen and flashy writing. It's like all I did was finish the tutorial, and it's like it's just making you. I don't know. Some games are weak, and you've seen it recently. So many AA companies are just dying or cancelling games. I think the market's like purifying itself now because gamers have got sick of it. That's why you got like so-called indie studios with like Baldur's Gate 3, and what else has there been recently? But games like that are just quite solid. And I remember when it came out, I think it was a Diablo creator was like bitter and saying, "Oh, this can't be the new standard. You can't hold us to this standard." And it was just like, yeah, it just threatened a lot of big companies. Blizzard, yeah. Blizzard, did they do Neverwinter Nights? Because then I might have been there with you. I'm trying to think who in politics was looking at the whole loot boxes. Was it Trump? I don't know. But about 5 or 6 years ago, they started to like pay attention to all the kids being ripped off, and it's just happened again recently. I don't know what game it was. It wasn't Fortnite. Might have been one of the Japanese like Breath of the Wild kind of games, but not Breath of the Wild. Yeah, yeah. It was a solid game. That game was too dark for me. I think I got to the end of the first act. It was just like... But I would like more games like that. But maybe I'm just being a bitch. Like I can see what it's the best game. Me and my old man just played Indiana Jones, and I didn't expect much from it because it was connected to Bethesda and Starfield. Although I don't think they made it. Maybe they just released it and marketed it. But Indiana Jones it's very good. Yeah, yeah. If it wasn't Genshin Impact, it was something like that. Yeah. But Indiana Jones is at least an 8 out of 10, and then if you like the movies, the films, it's maybe an 8.5 to a 9.5. Maybe a bit short, but it's very, very good. You can get it on Game Pass, so probably on Game Pass as well. You might be able to get a first month free for like $1 rather, and you can just stream it on a PC, even though it's Xbox. I hope you guys are hitting subscribe, and feel free to not come back or come back, of course. I subscribe to so many people and just forget. I think it's YouTube though, because once you subscribe to 50 people, it can't really recommend everybody. Yeah, I think I saw that. So you'd be okay. You'd just turn it. I don't know if you can turn it off. I think you can turn it off. You just need RTX to run it. So my laptop is a 3080 laptop, of course, which might be just a bit better. If that's a PC, it's probably only a bit better than a 3060 desktop, the 3080 laptop. Maybe a bit. Maybe it's a little bit better. I don't know. 30%. But if you can stream it, you can literally stream it on the cloud, and I can't believe how good the cloud is for a single player game. We're talking about Indiana Jones for anyone just jumped in. Oops, there's a nice typo. Joan. Yeah, they're already working on the DLC. I know, yeah. I got the Asus Zephyrus G15. It was 2022. It was laptop of the year, but I got it, I think it was the start of 23. It'll be 2 years next month. So I'll renew the warranty for 60 sterling, 60 UK, and then I'll probably sell it for a new one in the next 3 months. Okay, so my scene comes to here. Where does it get? Do I recreate that scene? There we go. What am I doing here? Am I preserving the node? I think what this is, when I load the scene and then async that opens the model, I think the object goes out of scope. So we're just trying to preserve it. Yeah, this runs everything, to be honest. It's only, the beauty is the screen's only 1440p. I'm used to 4K in PCs, but when the screen's only 15-inch, 1440p is fine. I was a bit of a snob, like I didn't like it, but as soon as I saw it, for 15-inch it's fine. And then my big screen's here. And then I've got an Asus 15-inch portable screen. They're like $120. I use that for travel. So you've got 2 screens on the laptop. And actually that goes into the USB, not even the display. So you can have a monitor. You can have 2 monitors for the HDMI and USB-C. And then I use the regular old school USB for the portable Asus. Yeah. 4K. No, it was a 39 to. It was 2 years old when I got my laptop. I sold the 3090 system. I travel a little bit, and I just prefer the laptop now. If I didn't travel or maybe do some coding in coffee shops, I'd definitely have a desktop there. You get like 40% more for your money, maybe 50, 60. Root node. What do I do with that root node? Vector model news. You don't know about what? Yeah, the 5090. So if I get a laptop, I'd probably get a 5080, but yeah, with a 5080, I don't know if I'd want to just go and, I mean, that's going to be at least £2,500, I think, and I'd only be able to sell this for like $1,000, £800. But I'd quite like to keep this and get another, but I'm not there yet. I don't think there's a lot of money, especially because this is pretty good still. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, how much is it going to cost just to run it over a month? I wonder what the electric bill is for a month. Web camera down, 1 second. So apparently in 2 weeks, probably I'll have 500 subscribers, and then you can all send super likes, and you can buy me coffees. 59 minutes over. 1080. Where are you based? Without giving you full details. And I've been in some countries, and in fact I was in a coffee shop in England yesterday, and I plugged my laptop in next to the light, and the light started flickering. But I was in the Middle East, and you put a few things in and the lights start going off. That was just quite recently. Warning, this is a warning. I built that debugger. America. Interesting times there. In fact, if I just go onto X now or YouTube, there'll be a headline. Now is the time to do political reactions. Okay, everybody listening. From Elon Musk, Donald Trump signs an executive order 12 minutes ago to declassify the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files, and the RFK files. Interesting. So now everybody's reacting to that, and ads are coming, and people are being paid. Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's not drawing my. Let me create. The predicament I'm in is I really need to get dirty into the code to fix this animation problem, and it's not nearly the biggest challenge I've had. Not nearly. I just can't fix a 5-hour problem on a live stream because I like to engage with you guys. Okay, so this gives me display extra animation data. So it's not drawing the object, but it is. It's got the rotation data. So it's loaded it. But there's a bone called armature, a bone called body, body 0.1, leg 0.1. And that's this window is being drawn every frame, so it's in memory. What kind of game is it going to be? Remember, I don't know, what would I say? Like not a real-time strategy, a civilization game. And I don't mean Civilization, the game, but a societal game. A world where you are the resource manager or god or whatever. Okay, is anyone familiar with this? Let me give that. I'll just screenshot that. More kind of, I think more ancient man. There's a game called, what's it called? Sapiens. So less about conflict. I think conflict will come in. They won't be treated. So not I don't know what game's most similar. There was a game called Black and White or Settlers, that kind of game. They're just references though. I want something quite unique, and I don't want to bring any conflict into the game maybe until after it's released, because if you take conflict out of a game like this, you're going to be forced to be very original, because we need something original. And then when the game's good, then maybe bring that in as well. Okay, let's have a look. Well, that's just wrong, because it was highlighted before, right? Where's the Windows storage? Yeah. What do you mean? Do you mean because it's only like ChatGPT is only up till the end of 23 or something? I'm really looking forward to Grok 3.0 in 2 weeks apparently. I'll pay for that. The thing with like the whole cheating thing with coding, you don't look for help. If you're a coder, you don't look for help until you're stuck. So then you're just learning at that point. And if somebody can tell you and you save 90% of your time instead of going through different websites, that's okay. But I think if I was only learning to code today, I think it's going to be a bad time to learn. Not because you're not going to get a job, but because you can cheat so easily. You can do the whole ChatGPT thing. And I think it's good to have gone through the pain of learning to code without those tools. But in 20 years, what I'm saying now is going to be irrelevant. So, because the paradigm will change again and again. And we'll just be coding. We'll be just watching robots do things for us. On Mars. Yeah, I don't know what the cut-off point is with ChatGPT. What's your data cut-off month? Same question as above. Use the internet too. They must have broken so many laws to scrape all this data. No, not that question, the one before. Okay, it's not relevant. I've really distracted myself because I want to see what this executive order is. But I can come to that another time. Yeah. Interesting. Load animations. I'm just going to get a code review for myself. For those just joining, which is most of you, I've not touched this code for 3 months. I went on holiday to Tel Aviv before the drama, and I ended up stuck out there for 4 months. So that was when I started the channel. And for some reason I could code better then than I can now. So I'm just refreshing myself. This code appears to be loading animations from an AI scene structure. Yes, it does. lightly provided by the async library. The AI scene contains animation data and the function processes the keyframes for each animation's channel bones to store them in a custom format. I'll break the code down and highlight any possible errors or improvements. So this is it's called a loop, a for loop, and for it, it's going to do something a given amount of times. So it's going to do something for every animation. Would you say for every animation? Yeah, for every animation within the scene, which is every animation within the model. And here it's extracting some data and creating a pointer to that data. Curious. Yes. So this is the async structure of an AI anime. It is async. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So ticks per second. What I'm doing, I'm looking at the async structure and just checking that my structure gives room for all of these. I know I have ticks per second. So it belongs to animation data. Yeah, here, so then we create an animation data. Ticks per second. Duration. The name. I don't think I'd deal with channels. I don't think I deal with... Oh wait, do I? Maybe I do, yeah. Come back to chat. Sweet. Hit subscribe, guys. I need 500 subscribers, and then so at 500 you come to the first tier of a channel on YouTube, which means people can send super likes and all of that, and also I can create membership, so I can do exclusive content. I can do more work. Yeah, I don't know if is that going to happen. I don't know. Okay, channel. So what is channel? What's a channel? That the async animation is very complex. And then this is what's interesting about independent game development. You can learn this in, I don't know, you can probably get something going in 3 days. You can learn it in 2 weeks, a week, depends on your memory. But then also, I'm asking the question, can you also animate? Can you draw? Can you use Blender? So there's so many skills involved in doing things independently. Somebody's just sent me a link. President Trump signs order to declassify. Okay, guys, I'm gonna How should I wrap this up? I'm going to wrap up now in the next 2 minutes. And what do I want to come back to? I'm going to do a prototype. So I'm going to do something very small. I'm going to create a new file that just loads up an animation and that loads up a model and then animates it. I'm gonna approach everything completely fresh, rewrite all these functions on a new file and a new shader as well, and then I'm gonna see where I went wrong, and then I'll bring it back into this version, I think. Hit subscribe. I stream at least most days at the minute. It's been every day for the last week, but if you look at the last few streams I did, they were just kind of getting back into my code base. Cool. I might stream again in 3 hours, but I'll definitely stream tomorrow. Good night, chat. Let's go see what Donald Trump's done today with the releasing of the JFK files. Very interesting.